Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Gilligan's Island, more specifically about an episode called Angel on the Island from season 1. It's episode 11. It aired December 12th, 1964. If you're a fan of classic TV shows and movies like Gilligan's Island, make sure to look at the playlist in the description of this video, as well as all of my 1,800 videos on classic TV shows and movies. Thanks for all of those who have been supporting. It means so much to me. So let's get right to it. As I mentioned, Angel on the Island was a very interesting episode. It was very early on Gilligan's Island. Now first I'll tell you what the episode's about, then I'll tell you a really cool behind the scenes thing that you may not have known about this episode, and then we'll look at the deleted scene which I'm speaking of. And on this episode, it's very interesting because it showcases Tina Louise, who played Ginger Grant in this episode, and she worked a lot with Mr. Howell, who is directing this Broadway debut and having her play Cleopatra. That is, until Mrs. Howell gets a little bit jealous, she objects this and she wants to play Cleopatra. So that means that Ginger gets reduced to being used as the maid, and Mrs. Howell takes over as the starring role. Ginger is of course heartbroken and has Gilligan sticking up for her, although Skipper had to play Mark Anthony and he was taking his role very seriously. Now before I continue, take a look here at Skipper. He's playing Mark Anthony and trying to practice his lines. Look at his ear. He has a bandage on his ear. Why? Well, because later on, chronologically in this episode, Gilligan does a stunt where basically Skipper walks into the ladder that Gilligan is carrying and breaks it right in half. Now during one of the scenes when they were actually filming this, the bamboo that was supposed to break open automatically, it was kind of tricked that way, accidentally sliced a little bit of the Skipper's ear. Well, that is Alan Hale's Jr. ear. So they had to put a bandage on it and then refilm that scene. So when you see it, the final cut, he has that bandage before that stunt happens. And then when he's talking to Gilligan before this episode chronologically, that might be puzzling to some. And the only reason for that is because, well, they film a lot of these episodes out of order on purpose, what is more convenient and so forth. So you see the bandage, then you see him with no bandage, and then again with a bandage on. So that's the story behind that. But what about this deleted scene that I know a lot of you are just dying to know about? That is, of course, right at the end. Syndication decided not to play this. You could pretty much only see this when the original episode aired. And now, present day, with Pluto TV and DVDs and uncensored versions that you can find, you will see this final scene. But if not, you would not see this regularly in reruns. Of course, it depends on the station. But anyway, this deleted scene was a pretty good gem because, as I mentioned, Skipper was taking his job or his role as Mark Anthony as very, very important. And so he wanted to ask Gilligan. He's like, hey, what do you think? How do you think I played the role? Did I do good or not? And there's a little bit of play on words where Skipper's like, hey, forget I'm your skipper. Hey, forget I'm your little buddy. And then Gilligan responds to everything, forgotten. It's forgotten. It's forgotten. And he says, how did I play Mark Anthony? How was my role? And Gilligan responds, it's forgotten. Just like it's whatever. And then we see a parrot. We see a parrot that says, terrible, terrible, terrible. Now, that is really cool because, of course, no one saw that scene, and it's a really funny scene because Gilligan is insinuating that he taught the parrot to say it's terrible, basically saying, yeah, the Skipper's portrayal was terrible, but he wanted to keep it from him, to keep the Skipper from getting mad at him. Now, little fun fact, who played the voice of the parrot? Well, that was Mel Blanc. Yeah, Mr. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky the Pig, Foghorn Leghorn, and more. Very, very cool to be able to know that this was the real Mel Blanc playing the voice of the parrot. By the way, he returned later on to voice Froggy in Water, Water Everywhere and Sam the Parrot in the episode New Neighbor Sam. So he appeared several times in the episodes of Gilligan's Island. So I hope you like this. My question is, have you seen this episode, Angel on the Island? First of all, because I don't think it's shown that much in syndication to begin with. But when it was shown, they didn't show the ending tag scene. And so I want you to tell me if you've seen the ending scene yourself. And if you haven't, let me know what you think about it. Would you have wanted to see it originally? Do you understand why they take it out? They take it out simply for more airtime. The more footage they take out, the more commercials they can stick in and the more money they can make. So that's why a lot of these episodes suffer being cut out. They cut out a lot of sections so that they can put more commercials. That's why I love the uncensored versions on DVD and so forth, where it shows everything without commercials. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for the support as always. It really does mean so much to me. The best way you can support me, which you all have been doing so greatly lately, is to thumbs up this video. Also, leave a comment down below, and especially if you're not subscribed, you really should. It helps out the channel, and it is a free way that you can do so much. We'll see you all next time. Don't forget to always stay positive and be hopeful.